Hey y'all, we have a test coming up on Monday. I sent a review home with your kiddos this afternoon. I may have missed some of them, so I'm going to send a link out and remind or pictures of the study guide so you have it. Before I start going over the review, I want to show you a chart that I made this week. Excuse the drawing. My guy was supposed to be happy and cute, but he looks a little creepy to me. So we've been learning about quotation marks, and the phrase I want my kids to remember is wrap it up and tag it. So when they think about quotation marks, they need to think about a present. The quotation marks themselves are like the wrapping paper. They wrap up the good stuff, which is what somebody says. And then the tag is who said it and how they said it. So when a tag is at the end, like in the first example, it says quotation marks can be tricky, remarked Ben. Do you see how the quotation marks are around what Ben said? And then there's a comma, and then it has the tag remarked Ben, and then another period. That's really common, and that's what our kids are used to seeing the most. But these other ones get a little more tricky because of where the commas fall. So the second one has the tag at the beginning, and Ben commented, comma, open quotation marks. Quotation marks can be tricky, period, and then close quotation marks. So you have to be careful about when the tag is at the beginning, because the comma and the period are in different spots than when the tag is at the end. Tag in the middle is the hardest one for kiddos to get, and it's the hardest one to notice when there are mistakes. So this one sounds like, quotation marks can be tricky, Ben stated, but I think I have them figured out. So pay attention to where the quotation marks open and close. In the first section, the quotation marks open. He says quotation marks can be tricky. Then there's a comma and the quotation marks close. Then the tag goes in the middle, Ben stated, another comma, then quotation marks open. And also notice that that is a lowercase b in the word but, because the thought is still coming out. It's not a separate idea, so it has to stay lowercase. But I think I have them figured out. And then there's a period, and then the quotation marks close, and they are after that period. So now to get started with the review, and you'll have to bear with me while I get this all adjusted. Make sure you can see it. So this format is what they're going to see on their test. It's going to look a whole lot like this. My plan is to not only have a paper copy of the test beside our kiddos, but to also give them the opportunity to fill out a form, a Google form online, so that they will know their grade instantly. So all the questions are phrased like this. Which sentence is written correctly? And then they have 4 choices, and the differences are super small. So in the notes up here, I've reminded them, be sure to look closely at each answer choice because the mistakes are super small, and they are. A trick that I like to tell them is to compare them one by one by one and go down after you've read the idea that's supposed to be communicated. So it says, have fun at camp, said Alana. I'll miss you while you're gone. So when I compare these down, I notice right away that this choice does not have quotation marks opening, but the other 3 do. So I'm not saying that one's wrong, but I'm thinking maybe it is since the other 3 have it. And they all have fun at camp. And then this one has a comma, but the other 3 have exclamation points. And then I notice again, there are no quotation marks here, and they're in the other 3. So, and it says, said Alana. So right away, I'm noticing, because it says, said Alana, that there need to be quotation marks. So this last one is definitely out of the running. I'm not sure which 3 of these is right. But when I look at the word said, I notice that there's a capital here. In the tags that we looked at on the chart, you should not start a tag with a capital letter, especially if it's in the middle. So this answer choice is also out. So now I'm back to comparing these 2. So that one has a comma, this one has an exclamation point. Either works. Said Alana, they both have periods, more quotation marks. I'll miss you while you're gone. Oh, look, here's the difference. We've got an exclamation point inside and an exclamation point outside. I know that these quotation marks always go on the outside of the package. It's wrapping it up. So this answer choice is out, which means this is the one I want to pick. Question number 2. Which sentence is written correctly? Same verbiage from the first one and the same verbiage they'll see on the test. Again, I'm going to go straight down and compare after I read the sentence. "It's over already," said Rachel with dismay. So when I'm going, it's, yep, and they all have quotation marks. Over, already. Oh, this is when it starts changing. So I see question mark quotation. Well, I know quotations need to be on the outside to wrap it all up. So this guy, because the question mark's on the outside, has already lost out. This one's right. Oh, this one doesn't have any quotation marks. And I know because my tag is in the middle, it's got to. So this answer choice is out. And then I have said. This is a capital S. This is a capital S. They are no good when they're capital S's in the middle, or when the tag is at the end or in the middle. So this answer choice is also out, which means I've already eliminated these 3. This one is correct. Number 3, which sentence is written correctly? The boss said, "Make sure you're ready to help the customer at 11:30. So they all start with "the boss said." But then I notice comma, no comma. When you have a tag in the front, you have to have a comma. So this one is out. And then I open quotation marks, make. Well, when somebody starts talking, it's like a new sentence has started. So that first word in a quotation has to be capitalized. So this choice is out. Make sure you're ready to help the customer at 11:30. And then I've got to look at the end. I've got a period and then quotation marks. Oh, this period is on the outside of the wrapping. Oh, it's already been eliminated. Got a period, quotation, period, quotation. So that means I'm stuck between this one and this one. Maybe I need to go back over it and compare them again and see if I missed something, because they're tiny mistakes. The, boss, said, comma, quotation mark. Oh, that's what I missed. There are no quotation marks here. So that answer choice is out. This is the right one. Turn over to the back. Same directions, same sentence, same question type. Which sentence is written correctly? Again, I read it and I compare them. And I notice that the tag's at the end, so I'm going to have to pay attention to that. Who wants the last piece of apple pie? Asked Grandma. So start at the front. I'll start with quotation marks, capital letters. Who wants the last piece of apple pie? Ooh, this is where it gets different. So I've got question mark, then quotation marks. That looks good. That looks good. Oh, this poor question mark is left outside the wrapping, so no good. And then this one has a comma and no quotation marks. I wonder if that's going to work. And then we have asked. Oh, look, capital A, no good. Capital A, no good. So I need to get rid of this answer choice. All right, Grandma, and then there's a period, and then there's a question mark, and then they close with quotation marks. Well, I know that the question mark goes after the question is over. So there should actually be a question mark here and not at the end. So this last one is out, which means it was the first one. Which sentence is written correctly? Again, I read it and compare it all the way down. Now, he said quietly, are we going to do this the easy way or the hard way? Start over here with the quotation marks. Now, oh, but there's already a change. This one has a period. Now is not a sentence by itself, so you cannot stop that with an ending punctuation mark. So this one is out. And then we've got he, said, quietly, quietly, quietly. And now we have something different. There is not a comma here. When a tag falls in the middle, it has to have a comma in between to separate it from the rest of the quote. So because this has no comma after the tag, it's no good. So now I've just got the bottom two. Now he said quietly. Or, oh look, there are no quotation marks here. So because this doesn't have quotation marks, it doesn't have, oh look, I missed this earlier. Look, there's no quotation marks there. He doesn't say he said quietly. It's got to be outside the quotation marks. That tag can't be included in the quote. So this one is no good. So this is the right answer. There will be 10 questions formatted like these first 5 that we've gone over. And then this time I've decided to add a bonus. And it's going to be a little bit harder because they have to make their own sentence using quotation marks. So it doesn't matter to me if the tag is in the front, if it's in the middle, if it's at the end, but it has to be created by them. So they cannot copy it or just change one word or 2 words from one of these other examples. They have to create their own. And then I've added this note, P.S. it must also be a 7-up sentence, which means it has to have 7 or more words, has to start with a capital letter and end with punctuation, and the subject and verb have to agree, which means it has to make sense.